Oh,
Maybe a little.
there you go.
And we're live. That's
Here,
nice.
live from New York and Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah.
I was right. Okay.
Oregon.
Live from New York and Oregon. You're at Gamers Health. You've seen me before. I am Rach Tenkar. I am the one that's newly being sued, S-U-D-E. Make sure you spell it right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been waiting a long time. It's been promised for a long time.
Yeah.
And with me, as always on Saturday night, is my lovely wife, Rachel.
Hello.
But joining us for the first time is none other than Michael Hovermale. Michael, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Eric and Rach, appreciate it very much. It's nice to finally be here.
Yeah, I know it's funny. I've known Michael. I've known you like almost a year now.
Yeah,
we've been talking, but we've been talking like it's always been chat until we actually had our adult bonding moment last week. Sadly, cheers to you and your loss. My sympathies. Again, we can sympathize. We had our own loss with one of our pets 2 years ago this month. Holy shit. And we have her cremated. She's up on my shelf right next to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it still feels like yesterday because pets are your kids that you will always lose. They'll always predecease you. It's just the nature of it. And Jeffrey Sinclair is here. I do have to say I love the graphic. It is apropos.
It's fair.
Hello, Jeffrey. It reminds me of a fun story. Remind me to tell you the story of Jeffrey. Not that Jeffrey, a different Jeffrey, but the name reminded me of a good story.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. So a little background between this too. Like Michael and I have been trying to get this to work for our schedules, but Mike's had stuff going on. We've had a con going on that we were attending. So it wasn't planned out that the day that the news would get released about my legal action that's been filed against me, that I was going to have Michael on. That's just pure coincidence. We actually planned this out.
We've been trying to get this together for a couple of weeks now. And
yes,
we had our whatever, So,
I mean, this is just pure coincidence. And
it's Wizard Tower Games. I would bet that's probably Dawn. Hi, Dawn.
That's Dawn.
Go, Dawn.
So, just trying to get that out of the way because I don't want people going, oh, well, I know what this show's going to be about. No, you don't. Trust me.
No, it's very different.
It's
some things are more valuable than others. And we're going to be going towards some really, really valuable stuff about health and mental health and
your physical health. Like we were talking before we went live, this is all intermingled and intertangled. It is... if your mental health isn't serving you well, your physical health will likely suffer. If you are suffering when your physical health, your mental health will likely suffer and deteriorate. One feeds the other, and a bad one drags the other down.
Right. We can't isolate them, so we are, body mind connected.
Yes. So now, Michael, you were talking about a topic right when we went online. I got Rachel so excited I had to literally shut her down because we never would have gone live if she kept on asking you about it. But it's true.
Yes, of course, it piqued my interest. But Michael, we could start where it sounded like you wanted to start from sort of physical health and then work our way up. But yeah,
physical health. Yeah.
And you can.
What were we saying? Eat vegetables. That just do it. Just do it. Just shut up. Don't just eat the vegetables. Just
beans
whatever.
The more you fart, the better.
Whatever it takes. Just eat them. No, actually, we were just discussing Heroes Journey Club, and that is an organization that I am a cheerleader for. I've been working with them, since they've started, and they have a Discord server, and they're actually a group of mental health professionals that work with gamers, and gaming is the medium in which you can get some help. And most of the time we're playing Minecraft, but it was really any kind of game that we were playing. and I would come in and help out with the coaching side because I do coaching.
Okay.
So DM coaching, life coaching, that sort of thing. And I'm not a mental health professional, but I do understand enough when I need to, you know, either let somebody know or get some help. I can help them get the help, get them to the people that they really would need. But yeah, it's a great startup. They're still going strong, and they've been a fantastic bunch of people. And it really is, I mean, and it's everything from, you know, if you are just feeling like, what the hell am I even doing here, kind of blues, or if you have some trouble, you can get some help. So that's what we were talking about, was that's one of the organizations that I'm involved with as far as getting some help for gamers and mental health specifically.
Now, is this all computer and console gaming, or is there tabletop gaming involved in this too? Or
as far as I know, it's open to everything, but generally it's online. So we were using Minecraft quite a bit, and some other MMOs, and it depends on what games we could organize. So online games are easier to organize than tabletop, but tabletop as well. And then, and of course, you know, role playing and tabletop as therapy has been around for forever.
I've heard of these games being used for folks that have been through trauma of war. You know, I've heard of you know, the role-playing games being used by the VA, and but it's so exciting to hear about it coming available to the general public. You know, I think that games have so much of a therapeutic value, in terms of being able to explore different parts of your character.
Well, I was reached out to actually initially, probably a couple of months ago at the beginning of the summer, by someone on Discord, a friend of mine on Discord, and again, I'll say loosely friend, somebody that you connected with already on Discord, but they know what I've published, they know what I've produced, and we had talked about them because they have a program where they deal with disadvantaged youths, and a lot of what they do is they've been running Swords of Wizardry Light. Actually, they've been running Swords of Wizardry Light rules with these kids, and that's a role-playing game that they can pick up and understand without being whacked in the head with a 5e rule book. And then he asked me, can I get some copies of Continual Light? And, you know, just so folks out there, if you're watching, listening to this, you can contact me at tenkars.tavern@gmail.com. If you have a program for an after-school program or disadvantaged youth, or you need it for a community club or something like that,
or even if you're gonna, you know, try to get a group together, like in a mental health setting,
even
like community mental health, that could be really cool.
Reach out to me. I can, generally speaking, I can. My cost to send from Amazon directly, which is what Mike prints for me, I think is around like 15 cents a copy or something like that. So I sent 20 copies out, and I 20 copies. I paid for the copies. I paid for the shipping. I'm very happy to do this because it gets, gaming can unite people. I mean, I know we see this in our community, that there's a lot of, like, sometimes there's strife because you get one or two knuckleheads out there that need the attention, and it's, you know, look at me, I'm special. And here's the thing, everybody's special and nobody's special. You know, we're all special at some point, and we're all unspecial.
Right, we have certain uniqueness, but then because we're human, we're not so unique.
Yeah. So,
well, it's the saying that everybody's a genius in one place or another, and it's true. You could go, you know, there are some things that I'm just like whiz bang, I'm bang bang, and I'm looking like Chef Ramsay in the kitchen. I'm just, hey, I got this, I can cut this, I can put this here, drop that in there, and put that disc. You know, I'm cutting video, or I'm you know, doing things that I'm good at. Right. But then if you take me into, let's say, mechanics, I'm capable. I can look at it and go, okay, I understand some of it, but I'm like, I don't know. I can change a spark plug. You know, probably. I mean, I understand things like, you know, rotational energy and vertical energy and horizontal energy and the physics and stuff. But, you know, there are mechanics that just can listen to the car and go, oh yeah, it's that. This rod ping bang thing is knocking in the who's it deal, or, you know, or Western medicine. Yeah. Stuff like that. You know, some people are specialists and geniuses, and then you put them in a different situation, and they're just like,
I don't know. And here's part of life, I think, is recognizing not just your strengths but your weaknesses. A lot of times we tend to turn the blind eye to our weaknesses, and not because we're trying to avoid compensating for them. We just try to avoid acknowledging them, and then you walk into situations totally blind because you're not ready for it. Because
or vice versa. If you're a really depressive person, often you'll be very in touch with your weaknesses, but less in touch with your strengths, and it isolates you a lot more. So, but
definitely.
There's this forum, where people can get help, through something that they enjoy.
Yeah, Heroes Journey Club. It's and
engagement of a client. It's pretty cool. So it sounds like a bunch of gamers who specialize in mental health.
No, they're mental health professionals. The people that are running it are, full-on psychologists and psychiatrists, and they have accreditation, and they have all of that. They're running it, and then there are people like me that come in and help. I'm a gamer. I'm a coach.
They're not really,
but they're part of it, and they're interfacing with. So when you go on a journey and you are part of the group, and then let's say you're doing Minecraft, and you have some gamers in there that are there for getting a little bit more assistance, and they'll be talking, and the mental health professionals will be engaging some more with them and asking them questions and getting them to talk while we're all running around chopping down trees or building walls or making chests and things. And so I'm cheerleading, I'm helping, and I'm like, oh yeah, hey, you know what, let's make a garden here. How about we make a garden out of this place and start making a garden? And then they can also be having discussions with the professionals. And so, and it's, the people are vetted, everybody's vetted. It's a setting where it's safe. It's a professional environment. Right. So it isn't like just people doing willy-nilly stuff. And so, all of them are actual, professionals.
That's amazing.
That is awesome. Jeffrey, by the way, has a comment. Gaming is a great way to reach out to people with emotional turmoil. Yeah. It gives them a creative outlet for their rage. They can vent it out in games they're taking it out on another human being. That is true. And I think that there were times, I'm sure, especially when I was younger, that's the role that gaming played for me. You had a rough week at school. Well, hell, I was going to kill some orcs and take their shit, and you'd leave it psyched. Or as I got older, bad days at work when I was working retail, you look forward to Sunday afternoon gaming with your friends because everybody was ready to get that week of shit behind them and engage in a communal activity where we could support each other. And that, I think, is important too. It's a group activity that it's like, if you're talking Minecraft, it isn't like people playing, I don't know, whatever the latest shooter is, where they're in teams against each other. They're either working independently or they're working with each other to accomplish goals. They're not working adversarial to each other, and I think that's important.
It's a cooperative play kind of
cooperative situation. Or you can run you can be kind of solo, but still be in the world with others, so you can still interact with them. Okay. But you might have
somebody can go off and build their own shed somewhere in the woods and not interact in the game world, but everybody's in the audio chat on the Discord. So you're in the world and you're able to do stuff, but then everybody can come together, obviously. Like, usually I go full dwarf and full Tolkien dwarf and just dig. I flip on diggy hole, and I'm just like, I'm digging a hole, and I just dig and get as many minerals and everything and just bring them back up, throw them in the box, and let other people that know better do stuff with them, because I'm... there's there's multi-layers of crafting and things you can do and build machines and do all kinds of stuff in the game. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm going to dig a hole, and I'm going to pick up this iron. I'm going to throw it in a box. And then
you're doing the part, the support part that allows these kids to be creative. You're getting the grunt and the grind out of the way, and let these kids say, I'm going to build this, or I'm going to clear out the area for as opposed to them going, oh, I got to spend an hour digging a hole mining. You're doing it for them, and that's great, because if they're doing something that, I hate to say it, mindless, they might not be able to interact as much because they're gonna, they can interact when they're doing something creative, because when your creative mind is going, you tend to feel better about yourself, you tend to engage better, and you're giving them that opportunity, which is awesome.
Yep. That's why I do it. I enjoy it.
What age groups are able to have these services?
Adults and young adults, it's different. So, but if you're an adult, then you're an adult. But the young adults, you'd want to reach out to the staff and find out exactly where they're at, with the requirements for that.
Okay, very cool.
Well, listen, if they ever are interested in adding tabletop RPGs to their repertoire, I'm happy to send a couple of dozen copies of the current edition of Continue a Light to them, gratis on us, because that's really what the money that I make in this hobby generally go back to the hobby, whether to the people, giveaways, or All-Star Christmas or something like this, because it's what really being community is about. Like, it's the reason why we do this weekly Gamers Health. It's for us to give back. Yeah. So. Now.
Yep, that's what I've been enjoying about it. I like it, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you for finally having me on. And now that I don't have, I do. I'm after this. I have a birthday party, so it's like there's always something, and it's good. It's all good. It's just it's I've been blessed. I've got a full family and another full family, and so there's stuff going on.
Well, and that's it too. I mean, when you have that kind of support built in, and that's what we have here, it makes the bad days a lot easier. It's when you don't have that built-in support that you have to sometimes reach out to your community, and that's why we'd like to make sure something like this is out there. Now, I was hoping to have had the Gamers Health newsletter ready to be announced as officially launched this week. That didn't happen because somebody threw a little distraction in my direction, but that's okay. It's gonna probably come out. It's coming. It's just that certain things take a more immediate priority, and that's what happened in this case. So.
Papers with stuff written on them, and you're trying to write your own stuff on a piece of paper and send it to people, but then this other piece of paper shows up with other stuff written on it. You're like
goddamn papers. What the hell is this guy? Oh, okay.
Isn't it supposed to be on a cardboard roll? I mean, sorry.
Oh, well, in the end, I'm pretty sure I can have that made up.
I know a guy that makes shirts. So you can make.
You can have unique toilet paper rolls made up. That's certainly possible. It's an idea. It's an idea. Hey, if nothing else, it's something to auction off at North Texas.
Yeah.
There you go.
The 10 cars toilet sign. Maybe we'll have those.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Just an idea.
Yep. That's true.
Support is critical, and I think, me personally, I would have went off the walls over the TSR debacle if it were not for Michael's support, and vice versa. And that.
Yep. Thanks, Don. I really appreciate that, and that's very true. That really goes into, as you were talking about, having community, having the support of community, having friends and coworkers and people that you can speak to, especially if you don't have family that you can talk to about what's going on. If you have both, then of course, wonderful. You have both. But when you're in a situation where you don't have a family to be able to lean on, you reach out to friends and coworkers. Yeah. And it really, I do have to say that if it weren't for Dawn, I don't think that, I know it would have turned out differently, to be sure, but it's when you're in a situation when it's the only people that really get it are the people that are in it.
Yep.
There are people out there that know the entire story, that know everything, that know what's going on, but they weren't living it. They weren't there at the time, and we lived it. And it's like, yeah, and it gives you that specific kind of camaraderie and that bonding of the camaraderie, which is what we get from gaming. because
Right.
when you game together, you're sharing a mutually imagined experience. And it's also a very unique situation in the fact that it is a not necessarily a complete disassociation of your own personality and the creation of a separate personality, which is what's going on. There's
Right.
also, another bit of that, because the demarcation between the created personality and your actual personality is semi-permeable. So there's quite a bit going on. I'm laying a lot of, rabbit holes that we can choose to go down. And it's because I've been doing this for 20, 25 years. There's quite a bit going on. A lot of studies in school, a lot of studies with communications and film and television and media and digital art and history and culture. And, MMO has been studying that and been involved with that since Meridian 59 on dial-up. And before that, it was BBS's Legend of the Red Dragon on bulletin board systems. Yeah, I was there 3,000 years ago. I was there. Of course, I was in diapers. Yeah. But, where I'm going with all of that is there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of things that we should probably maybe touch on. But back to circle around to what Don was saying is that, we had a shared trauma experience with this and it just keeps ratcheting up and going to the point where when you do reach out and tell somebody, I haven't told anybody brand new in a while, but there was another, some people that needed to be brought in, and they go, "What?" And you go, "Yeah." And then this happened, and they go, "No." And here's the proof. And they go, and they're doing the triple take because there's proof, and it's verified proof, and it's and you're okay, mind blown. And part of that, so you get that shared bonding experience. So he and I talk almost daily, and we have a really great time. And we also get to work together, which is awesome. So it's all turned into this awesome thing.
It's like they were in a foxhole together,
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's it's amazing that you say that, because that's really is kind of that shared experience on a very, very light level, on a very, because you don't ever want to try to say, "Oh yeah, it was like combat." It's like, no, the only thing that's like combat is combat. But simulated combat, simulated trauma, simulated situations, you're in this simulation, you're in a game, you're experiencing this. And in a role-playing game, you're actively involving yourself in the creation of and the portrayal of another personality.
Right.
So unless you have acting, theater experience, all these kind of trainings and things that I have, then you may not be able to understand exactly where one begins, where one ends.
How to separate reality from not even alternate reality, which is a whole different topic, but from the imaginative reality. Because gaming is often real. Like we remember our gaming sessions as if it actually happened sometimes, because it was that great a thing. And I still remember before I became a cop, I was working retail, and my manager wound up being one of my good gaming buddies, friends. Their ex-fiance, and she was a miserable individual. If I say the word, I will be the mom.
Sandy, beep 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 beep, and she's a beep.
Yeah. So
I'm the only one that gets.
They used to do that on television, kids. If you don't know why I just did that, look up your history book.
So it was such a bad experience, and I initially thought I was the only one suffering it, because it must be in my mind. I'm so miserable. I would get nauseous walking into the door at work. I would take sick days. I had no time left. And then I found out from other staff, it's like, "Oh yeah, Dana is really I'm like, so it's not just me. It's not it's like, and so we're all sharing the experience. And once I realized we were all sharing the experience, it didn't make the experience better, but it made the experience less harmful to me, because I knew I was not the only one going through it, and I knew it wasn't me. I knew it wasn't. Maybe I'm the asshole, and I just don't realize it, and that's why it's been like this. No, it was the total opposite. But it's. I can understand too what you and Don went through. Listen, there can be PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, is not just because you were in war, you were in combat, you were there when the towers came down or whatever. It can build up from other aspects
You
of
can have
your life.
previous trauma and then have, certain things like it just needs to be a threat, perceived, however it's perceived.
Right.
Like it's a perceived threat to someone's safety. And those things were happening to you guys.
See, she's the healthcare professional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the healthcare professional.
Well, she's exactly right, and people tend to want to assign values to very much everything. How much is it? Scale of 1 to 10, all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
But understanding that PTSD, whether it is from actual combat or whether it's from parenting or it's from being a parent or it's from a work environment or a relationship, anything. I mean, you can have the same sorts of trauma, and be set off the same way, have a smell or a scent or a sound or an environment or whatever it is, and it's going to set you off and you get the adrenaline dump and you're sitting there going like, okay, or whatever, or however it is that you end up reacting, because everybody's different, everybody's unique in the way that they deal with it. So it's just, and certainly there are things that you would hope are easier to overcome than others, but everybody's different. So where one person can walk into a situation, have this, I remember there's a video I just watched, Sven from Badass Counseling, and this guy is completely awesome. I share him on my Twitter. Look up Sven at Badass Counseling. This dude is amazing. And he talked about grief, because I was dealing with Vesuvius. I mean, 15 plus years of every day, just about every single day. And, there was a very close bond there, very tight bond there, helping him move on, which is, it's not fun. You have to, though. I mean, it's a human thing to do. When the animal gets to the point where there's nothing that can be done and you're ending the suffering, I believe that it's morally correct at that point.
You owe it to them.
Yeah, because they can't. There's nothing they can do except sit there and suffer, and they won't tell you. But anyhow, what I was going on with is he was talking about grief, and he was also talking about experiences of grief and experiences about parenting. And one of the beautiful things he brought up was that people can have the same experience at the same time, but also have their own unique experience at that exact same time. And so it's completely unique to the individual. And just to make it simple, let's say that somebody watches this video and in their mind they're thinking about they'll hear that we talked about PTSD at work, or another person will hear that we talked about Hero's Journey Club or whatever. They're having their own unique experience within themselves and creating their own unique memories and their own emotional state and their own experience of the experience. So then what happens is you have the parent and child relationship where the parent is, the authority figure and says, this is how it was, this is what happened. And then the kid's going, well, that's not what happened. And you can have a fight. But then you have to kind of, wrap your brain around the fact that the kid has their own experience. Even if you go on the same ride and it's the best ride ever, and the kid goes, F that noise, that was the most terrifying thing I've ever done. Unique experience in the same experience.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So.
No, and it's true. And the interpretation, we just had this conversation about our niece. My mother insists that our niece loves going to a certain Chinese buffet up in the Poconos. She loves it. She has a great time. Our niece talks about it and she goes, I hate the place. I get all stressed. But my mother sees it one way, and she's doing my niece a favor by taking her there. And my niece,
because she doesn't like it, like
my mother doesn't like the food.
Your mom doesn't like that food.
But my niece doesn't want to tell my mother that she doesn't like it, because obviously grandma likes it. So and she thinks she's doing me a favor taking me there. Mm-hmm. So same experience, totally different view of what actually is going on.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're making that decision because you want the grandma to have the joy because the grandma's experiencing the joy, thinking that they're doing something nice for you. You know, like when you get something from them and you're like, oh, this is great. Yeah, thank you. I really, gonna regift this, but I love it. Thank you. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, someone's been to that buffet.
No, it's not off I-80. Actually, it's off of Route 6.
That's so funny.
Just outside of Holmesdale, PA. But I've gone there once. The food was better than I was led to expect, but not good.
Yeah.
Does that
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That captures it.
Yeah.
So.
Wow, we've touched on a lot of rabbit holes.
Oh, dude.
The home of the rabbit hole.
we happen to like rabbit holes. I usually get rabbit holes sent to me as PMs throughout the week, and then it's like I get too many and I lose my place with them. But
I'm good with rabbit holes as long as one of us goes over to the other hole and drops the smoke, and then we're waiting. No, well, I didn't say that. Oh, it's terrible. All you people, no, don't give me any hate. Rabbits are delicious.
Gopher holes. See, now we can make it acceptable. Gopher holes. Gopher holes are just as dangerous, if not more so. And
break an ankle.
You can break. My aunt did that. Like 30 years ago. Aunt Penny, she broke an ankle in a gopher
It sounds
hole.
like something I would do.
I just know that gophers are really hard to.
Not a lot of meat on a gopher.
Not a lot of meat.
It'll work.
They kind of. You're gonna probably get more ticks than meat, but
Ew.
I'm just being honest. My memory.
Yeah, I mean, you roast them up, dip them in chocolate. I don't know.
Somebody was wanting to feed gopher.
No.
No, I've had gopher. I've been 20 plus years in the SCA as well. So I've consumed everything that walks, crawls, swims, flies, inches. Yeah, you name it. No, medieval reenactments, man. We know because back in the day, if it moved, it was food.
There you go. See, for me, I've had venison that was butchered in the bathtub up in the Poconos.
Never.
And I didn't want to take a bath for days after that as a kid. I was like, I saw it red. I had stew that I didn't know was hot stuff for stew, rabbit stew, until after I had it. That was a rabbit that was eating my grandfather's garden. And I had venison chili as a sergeant. And I'm not going to say where my lieutenant happened to go bow hunting and catch and take down the deer. Because if I did, I don't think the statute of limitations is long enough to say that. But I got to say the chili was some of the best chili I'd ever had. So it was very well done. So
he spiced it right.
He spiced it right, and he cooked the meat. It was very tender. So
it's got to be done.
This
got to do it right. And there are some dishes that have to be done by someone who knows what they're doing. If you're going to have haggis, it has to be done by somebody who knows what they're doing.
What's a haggis?
Haggis. What is it?
Meat and barley stuffed into a sheep's stomach and then roasted, cooked. Yeah. Haggis.
It sounds like haggis.
Oh, it's great. It's amazing. It's wonderful until you get, that doesn't know what they're doing. And then, but that goes for anything. I mean,
life-threatening.
Yeah, it goes for anything. If you don't roast the grasshoppers long enough, they're not good. But
I
get them right.
I don't know. Getting them right. Even if you dip them in chocolate, I think they're going to be a little bit too crunchy for my taste. I mean, I know it's the new future. Doesn't mean I got to agree with it. I can still go.
Well, it's exactly like Man at Arms said. Never think when you're hungry.
Ooh. That's actually that's why, like when you're gonna go food shopping, never go food shopping on an empty stomach. If you're hungry, because like, why do I got $400 in groceries in my cart? Because everything looks good when you are hungry. And then you still wind up catching fast food on the way back because nothing is ready to be eaten when you get home.
And that ties into gamers' health because gamers like food.
Gamers generally eat shit, at least at the table, right? I mean, some people, and I've heard the stories of people like, when they have gamers over, like it's basically a catering. They make some amazing meals for their people at their table. For us, it was the highlight was if maybe we did a run to Wendy's. Otherwise, it was ding dongs and ring dings and Cheetos and Gatorade and
I
Mountain
probably
Dew.
can't show the. I'll try to cover the logo.
Oh, you can
This.
show your logo. I don't care.
I don't want you to get demonetized or in trouble.
Just show your logo.
The
Show
thing.
it. Show it.
Yay!
Oh, we got the.
Of course.
I've never seen that.
I keep this here. I've had this since the last time we played D&D but I've keep it.
Right.
And I don't. It's not.
Aw.
I'm never gonna
Those
open it.
were like the limited edition like throwback cans.
No, I never saw it.
Oh, I saw them. I saw them at Walmart.
Had to be throwback because the new stuff is.
Yeah. The only Mountain Dew I will drink is like the Kickstart Black Cherry.
God.
The Baja Black. The Diet Baja Black.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, that's
I'm
painful.
sorry, man.
Ah.
Well, I used to do that on Amazon.
I'm gonna try to rinse that out.
I usually have that on an Amazon reorder, but
Oh my God, we don't need it anymore. We have cases.
I'm sorry.
No.
Find it.
No, but it all goes into. I mean, it of course that all spirals into. We're gamers, and gamers generally speaking, seem to have a few extra pounds because our favorite hobbies are sedentary. And generally speaking, we're probably eating rich foods and not doing a whole lot with it. And, understanding that that's what's going on. And,
especially when I was younger and my metabolism was better. I'm sure you didn't have like Entman's cakes out by you, but this was like it was very tasty chocolate with chocolate frosting. I could take that damn thing with a quart of milk and eat it in a sitting as you're gaming.
That banana crunch cake was bomb.
This is all the stuff
Oh, yeah.
that I'm sure led to, at one point as a gamer, I weighed a svelte 170. By the time I became a cop, I was already at 213. So, I mean...
Well, you were in a super high stress job, so that doesn't help.
As a cop, I left it even more than that. But I went in to the academy 213. I left the academy at 223. I put on muscle. I put on a shit ton of muscle, but I did not lose much of that fat, which is probably because aside from the run, the daily run, there wasn't any real cardio being done. It was all muscle building. So,
Right. And you're all in that super stress environment. You're firing off your cortisol levels, your adrenaline spiking, and all these other kind of things going on with your body, and it keeps continually shutting down and packing on fat, and
so it's like for 9/11, it's like, oh, I hadn't put my gun belt on for a better part of a year at that point because I was working in an administrative position. It's like, it fits. Yay! I didn't put on any weight. I must have. I think I put on two notches on the belt. It's like, but the belt survived, and that was all that mattered. You can justify things. I can still say, damn it. But that's one of those times where you go to yourself, yeah, I probably need to.
Well, part of and the thing that happens is that we always build associations. We build positive associations and we build negative associations, just like we were talking about. Gaming is an extremely powerful positive association, and so anything that you have going on while you're gaming is going to be another positive association. And so what you end up with is the comfort food, the mom's chicken soup, or whatever it is that makes you feel good. And so it's like, yeah, I can think of that Mountain Dew and I can remember what it tastes like, and then that brings me back to times of drinking, too many half racks a day while gaming and all that other stuff. It's like, but it's becoming aware of those associations and then stepping back from that and realizing, okay, I'm craving Cheetos and stuff while I'm gaming because that's what we did, and then that's when I was happy, and I want these things because that's when I was happy. Like anytime we barbecue, we have a great time. So now barbecue is it's everything's better, and but becoming aware of that and then having that knowledge and then forcing yourself to have the discipline to make yourself realize, okay, you have a couple of different goals going on. You have to be able to tell yourself you've got the goal of, I want to be this shape. Right. And in order to obtain that shape, I have to realize how much I'm putting out versus how much I'm putting in, because that's really all it is. You can't out-exercise a bad diet.
No.
And so you just have to say, okay, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to supplement with something else. I'm going to eat something else, drink something else.
Healthier alternatives. I mean, as a type 2 diabetic, I've had to invest in healthier alternatives for Cheetos or whatever it is that you want to snack on. And they're out there. You can find them. But they're not mass produced like Cheetos are. Cheetos are mass produced to appeal to
Right, and I think
the urge.
because they're not mass produced and they're a little more expensive, you use them a little more sparingly so
Right.
you can enjoy it for, you know, a
Yep.
longer period of time, or you know, you don't have it every day so that it can stay special.
It's Kim George with a pretty
Yeah.
flower.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Good to see you, Kim.
good to see you.
Hi, Kim. And what happens is you build an addiction, and people, you know, oh, they're not addictive. What is addictive is the association with the chemical stimulant, with everything going on, you know, and that's part of why smoking is so darn hard to quit, because you can associate that with, I get a break from work, I get to walk outside and get out of this place for a little while, I get to talk with cool people. Yeah, you have all these fun associations along with that. And so it all ties in to the dopamine your brain is getting. And becoming aware of that usually takes some training, or at least some knowledge and awareness.
Yeah.
And you can iron will it for a little while, but it's good to get help. Reach out and get some help from some professionals that can help you realize what you're doing, how to track it and trace it, write it down, get a journal. There's many, many ways to do it. There's, you know, so.
Yeah, I mean, I've known a number of individuals that have had addictions, and maybe one has actually beat their addiction in the end after like 7 or 8 false starts. And you know, it is something that you have to acknowledge, like you're saying, isn't just a physical, it's a mental and it's an emotional. It's hitting you on all 3 spots. It's hitting all your sweet spots. And you got to cope with all 3 of them at once, and that's not an easy thing to do without counseling, sometimes without medication.
You know,
Even
your person there is ahead of the game, because he might have had like 7 or 8 tries at it, where like the research shows that, you know, standard is that people will try to change their behavior 11 times until they see a long-term change.
Yeah. You know, you watch it, you see it. And I mean, listen, for me, the hardest thing for me to change was my addiction to carbs. And it's not like I still don't go back and have a day. Like even today, we had small personal pizzas for dinner. I only ate half. I put the other half away. But and I loaded it up with vegetables and meat. Yeah. But I haven't cut. I'm not keto. I haven't cut carbs out totally, but I don't have totally empty carbs either. I don't. Oh man, binging on candy.
It gets amazing. The more you eliminate, the better I feel. Getting closer to keto. And then if I do carbs, I make sure that I get high quality carbs. You know, no high fructose, none of that other junk in there. Just get something actually baked, not pooped out of a factory sort of situation. You know,
something that your body can recognize and break down.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's also understanding. You know, have you seen any of the documentaries? I love documentaries. There's a fungus that infects ants. You ever heard of this?
No.
Is this the mind controlling fungus?
This is the mind control fungus.
I didn't see it. We have to see
it. Is crazy awesome.
We documentary on it. We saw it when we watched like the YouTube that has like the 17 different wacky things.
Oh, that one.
Yep.
Graphic or the
Yeah, I'm always down for some David Attenborough all the time. And there's a fungus that it gets into these ants, and it controls their mind to the point that the ant will climb up onto a top of as high as it can go and clamp down on the limb or whatever it is and just stay there and die. And then the fungus grows through it and grows out of its head and then spawns the spores. That's how it propagates itself, is just to do that. The reason I bring that up is because it's observing that and going, okay, this is what's going on. Now they're talking about that our gut biomes are crazy more powerful than people have been realizing. And you can have different bacterias and things like Candidus and all kinds of stuff going on in there. Specifically, Candidus is one of the ones that they've discovered that loves carbs. It's addicted to freaking carbs. And so these gut biomes will be affecting your mood and affecting what you're wanting. And you're like, oh God, I just crave this. And I'm not pregnant, but I crave this. What's going on? You know, and so these chemicals because everything that goes on within us, we're basically walking bags of chemicals. It's really another realization, you know. And they've actually isolated, I think, up to, it's either 16 or 32, it's a pretty high number of emotional chemicals. They can take an injection, give it to you, you will experience that emotion. You will be crying, you will be enraged, whatever it is. They can give you that emotion chemically because they understand what's going on. So the idea that you have some bacteria in there going, give me carbs, give us, eat the carbs right now, go get the, and you're like, why do I crave this stuff? Why am I even thinking about it? You know, it's another one of those nice little rabbit holes of things I like to know. Just because I like to put it in my food and make people want to come back to my house. Be like, I want to go over to Michael's house. Why do I want to?
I got a special fungus for you.
Have some of my secret sauce. No.
Well,
but
I got a gaming question for you.
Yes, let's go back to gaming.
So you gave me a rabbit hole. Do you do voices at the game table?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, I do. I love theater. I've been in a few different productions. I've had the privilege of that. I studied in film and television and digital arts and media and all that other kind of good stuff. And I've loved to be on stage. I've played Hook. I've played a deacon. I've played a monk. I've played a horrible ambulance chaser and a few other things. I have a few minutes of Netflix fame. I am 2 degrees away from Kevin Bacon, or 1 degree. I'm either 1 degree. No, wait. Yeah, 1 degree is when you know Kevin Bacon. I'm 2 because I worked with Sam Daly on a film, and so yeah, I love that. I've done that, and that's why I preface all that because yes, I do that at the table all the time.
Yeah, it feels like it's sort of part of your personality.
I don't know what you're talking about. I only have one personality. Yes, he only has one personality. No, he only talks to himself every night. My precious. What? Sorry, where are we?
By the way, Kim, no game hole. We got blocked out by the sporting event. We didn't get our hotel room early enough, and I wasn't willing to spend like $450 a night. Sorry. As much as I love you all,
and we love that place. We love that con.
Yeah, but
we will miss you.
Whatever, all you Easterners and all your conventions. We had a Comic-Con here a couple of times, but now we got nothing. So whatever.
There's no real events up in the Northwest.
No, not really. No. I think there's some things that happen in Portland every once in a while, but we're in this nice little Bermuda Triangle sort of situation where I'm at. But whatever. So you're not going to Game Hole, huh?
We're not going to Game Hole.
Unfortunately, no.
Game Hole's a nice one.
Yes.
But we were at ShireCon. Our next convention will probably be TotalCon, followed by Rising Phoenix Con. That will be a first for us, but that's also in Massachusetts, so it's like TotalCon. And then North Texas. So the spring might be a little...
Yeah,
so now you've already got your benchmarks. So if you wanted to set a fitness goal for yourself for Gamers Health, and you go, all right, so by the time I go to my next con, I'm going to be able to do 20 push-ups and 30-second sit-backs and just body weight squats, 20 or 30 of those. Just set it in goals. By this time, I'm going to be able to do this. And then you look back over the calendar and realize, all right, that means that today I have to do 1.
Right.
Yep.
And then I have to be able to do 2 by Wednesday. And then I've got to be able to do 3 by Friday. And those are the kinds of things that I like to talk about with gamers, because gamers, we are all about planning. We're all about like, okay, what if I use this ability here? This is going to happen and I'm going to be able to do this and this and this. Or I'm going to be able, when are we going to game next? And you can line up the schedule, the evil schedule and die. But you get the schedule, but you gamify it. Gamification is a huge way to get yourself to health, and realizing also, of course, where you're at. So you do all your measurements. Forget the scale. The scale is bubkiss. It's what you've got. At least 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Don and I, for Wizard Tower Games at GaryCon. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be amazing. And yeah, we're gonna make sure. I'm putting down the fork, man. I'm putting down the fork, and we help each other out. Where having a coach, having a friend, be able to go, tell you, hey, man, remember, have you done this? What's going on? Sometimes you have them go, what's wrong with you? Why? You haven't done it.
Right.
Why? You broke it. You fall down. What? Or you have somebody that can you talk to and explain. Well, yeah, everything went to hell this week. Okay, fine. You had a hell week.
Right.
Pick it back up. Pick it back up and get back to it. But the point being is that the gamification of it and having a community, that if you have a community like this, a Gamers Health community, and people can be supportive and people can be proactive and say, hey, we're having this challenge, we're doing this challenge, we're doing this, doing that, make it something awesome. Go to your con and be like, dude, you want to start with a +1 sword? 50 push-ups. Can you do? And they do it, bang them out. Be like, dude, you just started with a +1 sword and some chainmail halberd, badass. You get a boost.
What if I did 3 and instead my back went out? It's like, all right, here's some old ring mail. And
old ring mail.
Some old ring mail that somebody wore at their death, hasn't been cleaned since, and here's a broken. Actually, no. Here's Strider's sword, but you're only getting the top half. So you don't get the hilt. So you figure out how to wield that.
The way you do that, of course, is you realize that when we get fired up and all adrenalized, that's where you start. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do it, yeah, and you can hurt yourself. So you got to temper that down, and also rehab. Rehab is the golden goose of fitness. I tell everybody about that. Remember, guys.
I do get my big butt dies at the hands of the kobolds.
Well, yeah, that's because you're running kobolds like gremlins on crack. They're all sitting there at 2 a.m. They all come running out of the theater. That's you, Don. That's why they kill me and you and everybody. Psycho. What I like to do is I like to mix all of my fantasy critters. I'll have like gremlins and critters. Remember Critters? You ever watch that? Critters. I had back in the day when I watched that when I was young, and I had nightmares about critters. You take a critter and you take a gremlin and fuse them, and man, you got some deadly stuff. Kill you fast.
The critters are from the era of like the early 80s, like when Candyman.
Yeah.
Right. Early 80s, like late 80s. Like when movies like Candyman, like every other week, there was some other schlocky horror film coming out. It's like, what's going to be scary?
Yeah, but Critters was actually, I think, pretty good, and it was pretty darn scary.
I mean, I personally like the first Tremors movie.
Tremors, that's another good one.
The first one, after the first one, they got stupid. The first one was scary stupid.
Yeah.
If you didn't know going into it. Going, wait a second, isn't that the actor from the Michael J. Fox TV series in there? Isn't that him? What's he doing in this movie? I think his father was in there from.
I think so.
Isn't Critters the name of all of Matt Mercer's fans?
I don't know. I honestly, the weirdest thing is I've been in the industry all this time, and then obviously because getting involved with the companies that I reached out to get involved with, wanting to do this kind of stuff, and it's like, but I don't even do the Critical Role. I looked at some of it, but I can't watch. I can only watch some things if I really know what I'm watching, and I'm too tired to not suit up and do it myself. Like if I sit and watch people fight at SCA, it's like, okay, it's because I fought all day and now I'm tired, but now I'm going to watch somebody else fight, and I can watch him and know, okay, he's coming in, he's getting ready for the flat snap, and he's going to come in with the wrap, or he's going to do this or that sort of thing. But like D&D or board games or let's play videos or watch things or whatever, like videos I want to try to make myself, I can't watch them.
No, I can't do that. I mean, I appreciate the folks that can run live play sessions, The only one I used to listen to was it Drunkards and Dragons or something like that? It was an early 5e podcast. It was fucking hilarious because they were all a bunch of asshole players, which is what my group would have been. But
kind of like I did with Heroes and Hooligans.
yeah, but
that's badass.
I could never enjoy watching other people play. I mean, maybe at a convention, you walk by a table, you watch a round or two. Okay, and then I'm going to walk on because I'm not involved in the process. Whether I'm a DM or a player, I want to be involved in the process. Watching people play on the screen, no. Even if it is technically not real gaming, it is predetermined acting out and improv. I still don't have patience for it. I'm sorry. And of course the one that was inspired by that, the cartoon that's on Amazon now, Max.
Yeah. I forget. I've seen it too, and I forgot the name.
I watched like a third of the first episode, and I went, yeah, it's probably not my cup of tea. I'd rather watch YouTube videos about keto food or healthy eating or documentaries or strange gadgets, stuff that actually will teach me something as opposed to watching other people play the D&D table. I just can't.
Well, I'd like to do pieces of it. Like I would love, there it is. Yeah, Vox Machina. But like if I'm, here in the near future, we'll be playing with Mr. Tim Cass because he does games on Zoom.
Oh.
And yeah, absolutely. So I'm really looking forward to that. Tim's great. He's just we talked for so long when we did the video about the film, and working with him has been fantastic. He's awesome, and we're very, very similar. I love anyhow. I would watch him DM.
Yes.
Or like Mike Carr when I got to play Fighting the Skies with Mike Carr. That was amazing. And you're just watching him do this stuff. It's like amazing, But yeah, I would want to be like, okay, how do I do this? And watch him do that. And then I want to go and try to do it myself. I couldn't do 2 hours of just watching the game unless I'm trying to learn the game. But as soon as I learn it, I want to do it myself.
Right. I was just going to say that would be the draw for me if I didn't know what the game was, so I could.
Yeah. So when we do actual play,
and what you do, and
so when we do actual play stuff, it'll be pretty short pieces.
That's cool.
And probably we'll video a whole play session and then just take out a piece and be like, this is what happened at 15 minutes, and so you get a little 10-minute slice of something hilarity.
And that's about the attention span I think that people are going to be able to lock into, because. Do you really? I mean, listen. When Roll20 reached out to me, God, 6-7 years ago, it's not longer, and wanted me to be an example of using Roll20, and they could put it up on YouTube. They wanted me to record it, and I was like, "You do realize I'm a minimalist. I use Fog of War. I use your dice, and I use a pointer. And if we take out the bullshitting and the politically incorrect joking around and other kibitzing, will probably have about 15 minutes out of a 3-hour session." And to their credit, they never responded. They were just like, scratch that.
Thank you for letting us know.
Scratch that one off the list. We don't need to know.
Yep.
It proves that people wanting to turn their games into books would be terrible. Not everyone has the skill of the Lotus Wars writers. And that we were watching that cartoon. We don't think we finished it, but it was pretty good. It was the Japanese animation.
Oh yes. That was the name of it.
Yeah, Lotus Wars. Yeah, it was pretty well done. We got distracted by the new shiny though, whatever the new shiny was at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't Dragonlance though? That was a playthrough, and then they turned it into books on some of it.
They turned it into a cartoon with Xena Warrior Princess as the lead voice actor.
For Lodos?
Lodos, no. Lodos was not based on Dragon.
Now I'm lost. No, I was talking original Dragonlance novels. I thought that they did that they gamed and then they wrote the novels.
I think that was kind of what happened.
Some of them.
That was Weiss and Hickman. But then
mix your stream and exercise, maybe something for that booth. One die roll to make you exercise. Hey, that's a good idea. I like that idea. They pay their money, they roll the dice, they get, yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Money goes to charity or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Mix your stream and exercise. Trust me. You want exercise from me, we're going to be doing probably in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We'll have the 2022 Tenkar Does Yoga for Charity event. And I will not be shaking my booty this time. That was
well, we'll just up the ante, so we'll like, you'll do it, you'll do it a little bit before we.
I'm not gonna.
do it
I'm not gonna twerk. I twerked last year.
I wasn't talking about twerking.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about actually doing the
yoga.
The yoga.
My mouse cursor's hovering. Leave studio. I mean, oh, sorry.
It's like,
I'm just kidding.
Tenkar twerked. What the? Hey, we raised $1,500.
What kind of show am I on?
We raised $1,500 for St. Jude's Hospital. So it was
for St. Jude's. I would twerk.
Yeah, yeah. So that. And
heck yeah.
Joe the lawyer and our niece Shannon were the hosts doing the play-by-play and monitoring the gifts. Tenkar will need a flute to go the full Rizzo.
I don't even know what that means, but
I know what a flute is, and it's not. He's not talking a musical instrument. It often referred to by old timers on my job as, "Hey, did you bring a flute?" And the flute was, for most of them, was the flask. It was.
Oh, okay.
Because when I came on the job, drinking on the job was forbidden, and actually actively forbidden. Whereas the prior generations, it was just don't get caught.
Sort of frowned upon.
Yeah,
don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we talked about it a little bit, but and it reminded me to go back to what, as I was saying, rehab is the golden goose of a lot of it, because there are some of us that have been around for a little while, and then there are some of us that are just out of shape, and realizing that you're out of shape and being comfortable with that, being able to look honestly in the mirror, take an honest measurement of where you're at, and just go, yeah, this is where I'm at. Okay, fine. And it's creeped up on you because it never happens overnight, but so what? You are where you are. You start where you are. And if you're at a situation where you're, you can do it while you're gaming, that's the cruelest thing ever. So just sitting here right now, just sitting here, you can tighten your abs. Just sit here. I don't even have to. I can just sit here and talk. And I might go, you can breathe out. You can just squeeze it, and then Dwargar's having his turn, and Beezy Bob is having their turn, and whoever's doing this and that, and they're casting fireballs or whatever. And you just sit there, and you do the, you move around a little bit, you twist in your chair, you turn, you shift your hips. Another one really good is you slide your hips back and forth, or you shift them forward, doing the pelvic thrust, before you do the time warp again. But I'm serious. Exactly. You see, and when you talked about your back going out. So because the thing about understanding it is we sit a lot. We do. Because I don't see a lot of standing desks for gaming. And it's so you realize that you're sitting on those nerves, your sciatic nerve, you're pinching it all the time, you're doing all this kind of things, and it ties directly into IT, because in the IT world, what are people doing? Sitting all the time. You got to teach these things to these office workers so they're not dead. And you get up, walk around every so often, say every hour, every 30, 45 minutes or an hour, everybody has to get up. Just say, all right, everybody, we're going to stand up now. Bam, everybody stands up. Keep playing. Just stand there, for 4 or 5 minutes, just a few minutes, and sort of incorporate it into your game to make it cool and make it fun and do something with it and make it an active thought process. And so you're doing your own motions. You could also include it in the game, like, hey, we're going to do this, or not, be fat.
You're smoking.
Huh?
They say sitting is the new smoking.
It can be, it can be. It's very much sedentary. You sit there idle minds can be a bad man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and there's your gaming too, because you're keeping your brain active. You're keeping, you know, you're going. And so, yeah, that was another thing that I wanted to bring up was just that, you know, if gamers include those sort of little exercises and do those things, they add up. And eventually you get to the point where, you know, you've strengthened your core and it's supporting your spine. And then you go to do downward dog and you don't go.
And your heels might get closer to the floor.
Oh, yeah, my heels do not. I am like, I'm jacked up. I should be wearing like go-go boots or something. Just like flexibility. I have to work at it.
You yoga people, you.
I have to. I don't do a ton of it.
No.
Keeps a person stimulated. Yeah. Well, and that's right there, you know. Gaming helps keep your mind busy, keeps a person stimulated.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But at the same time, I mean, hey, listen, VR headsets are a great way to get a workout in without feeling like it's a workout. You know,
to the point that Apple has a new setting on the Y.
Yeah. Well, I play VR racquetball with Zach Lays from Frog Guy Games a lot.
It was.
It's how we talk.
You okay over there?
Oh, that's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, we talk about, like, you know, what's going on in the industry as we're whacking the ball back and forth. And I have stenosis in the one shoulder going back to radiation for my cancer. Like,
in this shoulder.
Well, I got the two. I got this one here. Well, now I have the recent tightness in this shoulder.
You tightness. We don't know that it's stenosis.
No, you're right.
Stenosis is over here.
Yeah. But it allows me to work through motions that I might be hesitant to do when you feel that initial tightness when you're trying to hit a racquetball. You're like, oh, I'll feel the pain.
Well, you're able to do more. You're able to respond reflexively.
Yes.
And not be in pain at that time.
Yeah. Or it'll be a short discomfort. It doesn't stick. So whatever it is, I work through it. So it certainly does help.
Mm-hmm. And there's the rehab. Yeah, absolutely. Another really great one for these here, of course, with all of the stretching, slow movement of the head, slow rotations of the head, slow shoulder rotations forward and backwards. Then lay on your back so that you're fully supported. Hard to surface is good. And you can, if you can, point your hand straight out and then write alphabet letters. A, B, C, and it begins to work all of the little tiny supporting muscles in the rotator cuff, you know, and you come out to the side and do the same sort of thing. And if standing up hurts to do that because you've got the tightness and the problems, laying down on your back supports all the shoulder, and the shoulder can just sink back or sink into the chair, and you do the supporting muscles. And then you do it at this point, and just do the alphabet, as many letters as you can before you get fatigued. And that begins to build all the support muscles as well, because there's generally two different groups of muscles: support groups and primary groups or main groups. You know, so if when you're like, oh, I'm lifting the weights, and then I will take the sword and kill the people, you know, that's big primary motions. But if you take the smaller weights and you move it around, hold it out, and just hold it at extension for a while, that'll get some of your supporting groups and motions in the joint motions. Figure eights, that's a really good one too. So anyhow,
it's like a functional strength.
Nice.
Right. And it's just a matter of building. You have to build the routine. You have to get yourself to do it, make yourself want to do it, have incentives, you know, and have an incentive really has two different ways about it. There is a towards, and then there's an away from. A towards is when you are considering what you're going to get, what you're going to gain, the good feelings you're going to have, and focusing and paying attention on that. And an away from is realizing that you're really just turning into a fat, slobby, sloshy, nasty, no one's going to want to touch you, even in a dark room thing. And maybe you want to work out sometimes.
Right.
You see how that works?
Yep.
You know, you stack each one. You stack and away from, okay, these are all the things that are going to go bad and I'm going to die and all that. And seriously, be serious about it. Seriously, I'm going to be hot. You know, things are going to be getting better. I'm going to be enjoying myself. Stuff's going to go good. And there you go. I was looking for this sticker when you mentioned the VR stuff. Because my son Crimson and I, we went to one of the conventions here years and years and years ago, and they were debuting the VR stuff.
Oh.
And back then you were putting a toaster on your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it worked, but you're just like,
You need a little head support to go along with it.
yeah, you need some of those
You need
little
a
hydraulic
counterweight
shocks.
on the back of your head.
Something, yeah.
Like I find like I can if it's something that involves me standing up and doing physical motions, the helmet is fine. If I'm playing Demio, which is like their D&D 3D board game, you're just sitting in a chair and you keep on. Oh my god, my neck! So it's like I gotta. It's like 45 minutes in. I'm like I gotta tap out, man. I can't do it anymore.
Yep.
I'm having to look down at the board, and my neck is like can't handle the weight. Can't do it no more.
You do that when you're gonna fight SCA fighting because you're wearing, it's 10 gauge steel on the dome and 12 gauge skirt usually, and it's a helm. You're wearing full kit armor to go and get beat on with. So when you want to start getting back into it or get ready for it, you put that thing on and sit there and watch TV and move your stuff around and just watch TV. So you can get used to having that much weight on you and having to move. So that kind of thing. Television's fantastic for exercising. Incorporate that into your television. Just do it. Just get the freaking dumbbells and have them at the couch. Scoot up to the edge of the couch and just sit there and do some curls and do some shoulder presses and you're just watching TV. You're like, I can't believe Al Swearingen just said that. Holy crap. I'm going to shoot somebody in the face. What's going on, Stuff like that. So I'm kind of shotgunning. You asked me questions and I just start shotgunning my whole, this is my whole, my gamer's health line that I'm working on in coaching and helping people
very cool.
Do this. So I hope so.
Very awesome. Now I know you have someplace to go after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm okay for right now.
Okay. All right. I want to make sure because I'm like, I don't. Time out in the West Coast is going to be about 6:20. I just want to make sure we're not keeping you.
Yep. No, I appreciate that. I will let you know, definitely. So, but I have a few more minutes. I feel like I've sucked up all the oxygen. I'm so sorry, you guys. I mean, what do you got? This is your show. I mean, what?
No. It's not my show. It's not Rachel's show. It's a community show. It's the community.
It's Rachel's show. What are you talking about?
Well, every show is Rachel's show.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we know that.
It's like, what's that voice in the background saying what? Oh, it's got to be Rachel.
Yep. There, she's right again. Listen to her.
What else is new? I'm tired of doing.
Yeah, we're
right. God damn it! To hell.
I'm coming up on 30 years of my muse, and so I know. It's true, and it's one of those things. I'm just like, don't tell me I know where I'm going. I'm turning left where I want to turn left, and you're right. I'll just whatever. Sorry.
I think the best invention ever was GPS on your cell phone because, as a man who hates asking for directions, now it's like I can ask my phone for directions, and it will be 99.9% accurate. There's sometimes where you gotta like improvise. I'm okay with that. Rachel, remember when we were first, dating? It's like ask for directions. We'll figure it out.
Do that.
We'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. Ask for directions.
Asking that brought me back around to when we started discussing about mental health and gaming and how gaming can help people and gaming can be. And one of the things I also like to point out very strongly is for people to understand that gaming isn't automatically therapy.
No.
It is not an automatic situation, and it even isn't a situation where the average person should, I think, even really be too concerned about it at all.
Right.
I think that there is definitely something to say for speaking to people and getting input and finding out what they're into, what they're not into, what they like, what they don't like. Do they have specific things that they cannot have or don't enjoy having? Like in our gay steady group that we had there for a while, we used fade to black for sexual encounters. And it's like, because we had some gamers that it's all adults. I mean, we're all adults. Right. But I am role playing Darrodin, my dwarf, and to be completely honest, that's what he does. He is a warrior or a warrior cleric sometimes, but usually a fighter, defender, something like that. And whenever they leave, it's like he's going to go find the red light district because he may not be coming back and he's not married and he's going to go and have some fun before he might get dead, and we're adults. It's like, no, I don't want to sit there and roll percentiles to find out how good it was, and I don't, blah, blah, blah.
And as a DM, I don't want to role play it with you.
Come on, Eric, let's... I take my mithril off, and I look at you across the tavern.
My college group. No, Dave. Yeah, Dave, you go back to the room, and you wake up the next morning. No, tell me what happened. I am not effing telling you.
Tell me what happened. I want to know.
It's like, no.
Did I make my constitution check?
Yeah.
It's always a Dave. I have a good friend, best friend, Dave, too. Yeah. Dave.
Dave. You got one of them venereal diseases, okay? You happy now? You happy now?
And that's the thing. That's one of the greatest things ever is that I've seen books where it goes into that kind of thing. And you could have a random chart of like, oh, okay, well, roll percentiles. Let's see what happened. Oh, you rolled a 96. You're having a burning sensation. And, maybe you want to go to the local temple and
make a significant donation.
Make a significant... How many Hail Moradins are you going to do?
Oh, when I say lay hands, do you actually have to lay hands? I just want to make sure, can you do it by just touching my shoulder? Is that enough?
Yeah. Can you do it from across the room? Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, but understanding that, and because a lot of it is going in, understanding that you aren't necessarily as a DM, you don't have. It's not your job. Right. You're not a mental health professional. It's not your job to do that, and you really need to know your role, and you know your role from looking at yourself, doing a mind map of yourself, doing a mind map of why you're doing what you're doing, and then discussing it with your players. Or a couple of different things. Are you DMing for friends? Or are you DMing for your actual clients? It's going to be completely different.
Right.
When you and me and Don and a bunch of other dudes are playing, or we all get together and we play whatever we're going to do, it's going to be a whole different game. There's going to be some stuff go down that is not, if I was doing one of my paid, it's like, no.
Right.
Or even convention play, because it's a different dynamic. Convention play, you're getting 8 people together. Some of them may know each other. I mean, I've had it where I've had out of my 8, 7 were from a home group, and it was one straggler who didn't realize they were signing up with a home group. So imagine being that 8th player at that table. It's going to be awkward in that dynamic. Or it could be 8 complete, strangers, and they have to make that bond fairly quickly, which is what gamers are pretty good at, I gotta say. To be able to play the convention and be able to achieve goals, and it's like I sit down with 7 complete strangers, and within 15 minutes we were already working out plans, and you're starting to already figure out how this person thinks and that person's going to think, and as opposed to your home group where you pretty much know everybody, you've known them for however long, you've gained with them. As a GM, if I'm gaming with Joe the Lawyer and Tim Shorts and Rob Conley and Greg Christopher and Matt Jackson, that group, trust me, I know pretty much where everybody's going to go at any given moment. I'm pretty confident I can make a good prediction.
And it's good that you brought that up too, because you talk about how everybody's going to think. And, that takes us into the complete dark side of some of what's going on, because people they don't understand the demarcation between player and character. If I go into a convention and I sat down and I'm playing true neutral, or let's say that it's a mixed alignment group, and they say, well, if I were playing evil characters, that's a whole nother story. But the point being is that even if I'm playing, let's say, neutral good, and let's say I'm playing a version of my dwarf that is racist,
Right.
And he hates kobolds, he hates orcs, he hates them because they killed everybody that he knows. They went and murdered his whole family, or whatever, like that kind of thing. So he insta hates those specific races. You know, like you have it used to call it the preferred enemy. You know, so if you have a preferred enemy, then that's the enemy that you get pluses against because you hate them or whatever, that kind of stuff. Well, that's just part of a character. That's part of a character build. Even if you're so, you know, it's. Of course, obviously, I abhor racism in the real world. It's like, no, it's not. And if I'm using it in fantasy, it's so that people have something to fight against. It's a villain. It's something to work against. It's never something that's like, oh, this is a good idea. No, this is something that you can now be educated on. You can have a mild experience with it in a game so that when you begin to maybe experience it in real life, you can go, hey, no. This is not cool. I know what this is. I get that, you know, sort of situation, and you can understand the character. Like if you're reading Salvatore's Drizzt series,
right?
Man, if they didn't have that built in, what have you got? You know, you don't have the important heartfelt messages without having those dark elements in the story.
Yeah,
but it's also understanding that that's not me. So if I'm sitting there looking, you bent screw, broken hammer, you're about as useful as a, you know, soggy anvil piece of shit, blah, 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 you know, when I just had met this character or whatever, it's like, why are you being like that? Well, that's what my character would do.
Right.
And that's what I was talking about in my thing. That's what my character would do. It's not what I would do. It's what my character would do.
Well, that's
why
the game is role play.
It's role play, and you role play that because maybe in your own self there, you're looking for that redemption arc. Maybe it is that you play that, and then over time, that character, because he learns and grows and experiences and goes, well, yeah, maybe that isn't such a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't be that way. And this is the character's story arc. Role playing is that you can do something that you're not in real life. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, all the time. I mean, we would explore, you know, genders, and we'd explore races, and we'd explore ethnicities and cultures and religions, all kinds of stuff, because you're role playing that. And the reason I bring it up is because I'm usually a DM, and the DM has to be the bad guy. And so if I'm a bad guy and I'm playing a game and I go, hey, you know, Eric, okay, so you're the hero, and you come up against these bad guys, and they're just sort of sitting around and they talk mean. They're just like, we don't like you. And that's how they're bad guys. You're like, well, right? It's milquetoast. If I'm like, no, they're over there, you know, lighting a fire on that farm, and they're dragging people out and cutting their heads off and murdering them and all this stuff. Now you've got an enemy to fight.
Now you got conflict. You got emotional conflict. You have investment. All this stuff is what you need to get buy-in from your players, and that's part of the emotional attachment to role playing. Is that if your players aren't buying in, then literally all you're doing is moving tokens on a virtual board or miniatures on a table.
Yeah, without emotional investment, there is no game. The game is about emotional investment, and it's also about understanding what's going on with that, and then being able to understand it and experience it in a way that they have that understanding that I'm not that person. I don't believe in those things, but I have a world that does have that. And that's what makes me very sad about what's happening in the general scene of the larger players in tabletop. When I'm talking about WotC, and I'm talking about who makes Pathfinder? Paizo. And I'm watching this happen, and I'm watching them sanitize the worlds and immediately remove what they removed was slavery, was one of the biggest ones. And I remember that back in the day, I was talking with Ed Greenwood on an interview, and we talked about it, and I was like, I have slavery in my game. That doesn't mean that I think slavery is a good idea. It's not a good idea, but it provides a really good villain, and it provides these, elements that people, but now we're eliminating it from the game because people don't like it. And I go, okay, well, I get that you don't like it. I don't like it either.
Right.
But
yeah, wouldn't that make you want to fight it even more?
Yeah, I like having my character go and rescue him. I like that.
Oh,
that's
right. Oh, Paizo had a whole storyline with their Pathfinder where basically like the storyline was to eliminate slavery from a whole civilization, and it was, and you would think that that's a great storyline to have. Look, the good guys won.
Yeah.
But that was still like, oh yeah, we're not going to do that again because that was too
Insensitive.
I guess so. But here's the thing: role-playing games are essentially, at their core, it's good versus evil. Your players are generally good. They're fighting evil forces, and the more you chip away at those evil forces, the more you sanitize them. The more you turn them into a vanilla version of what they were.
Because you take away conflict.
You take away conflict. It's like, and then it makes those moral questions even more gray. It's like, oh wait a second, all orcs aren't evil, so I just can't kill all orcs, even though I think they're coming at us aggressively. Well, before earlier in 5th edition, I would know what to do, but now I don't know what to do. So.
It does open up a big, huge can of worms, and it gets you to it puts you into the position of, was my action justifiable? Was my action purposeful or meaningful or appropriate? Because some of your own personality does permeate into your character, and then it can also backwash into your own personality. And these considerations are something to think about, And if you don't have an enemy, because what they really did was they just in Watsy's case, they just replaced orcs with gnolls. Orcs now are not evil race, but gnolls, as far as I understand it, the last time I read about it, gnolls are just evil, period. They just are, And I'm going, okay, well, that's fine. I get that, And the thing is that it doesn't allow for someone to have the resolution of morality of combat, because when you're just, this character goes and kills these things and kills those things, but the act of killing, the act of visceral killing is, if you take a moment and just dip your toes in it, you immediately go, whoa.
Right.
Wait a minute now. I'm just trying to play a game. I don't want to be doing this. That's way too far, and that's fine. That's good. You can have a game and do that. And the idea is that you understand that that's a game, and you understand that that's the kind of game you're going to play, and you hopefully don't then decide to go online and call people names because
you disagree with them.
Right.
Yeah. So it becomes a very sticky web, and it turns into you're going down a rabbit hole. But really, my point being is that it's understanding that the separation of the player and versus the game, and being able to have elements in the game or in your work that is not you, and that you shouldn't be judged for. And if you wrote a module about slaves and you're trying to get, and the PCs are supposed to go rescue all the slaves, and suddenly you're blacklisted, you can't get published, you can't get carried any retail stores, you can't get anywhere, you go on Twitter and it's like, meh. Why? Because you have slavery in your game. So that makes you pro-slavery because you have no.
Many assumptions.
Yeah,
and that's why I'm talking about it here, because it's gamer health. It's you have some gamer health. Get understanding that what it is that you're really pissed off about. What is it that you're just like, man, we got to eliminate slavery. Yes, that's right. We got to eliminate slavery. And we shouldn't have it in this world. Do something about it in this world.
Right.
It's like I can't travel to Africa, where slavery is still being exploited in certain communities. I can't go there and make a change. That's not realistic. But I can do it. I can role play it, and I can be able to address it on some situation in the game. Now, Elle was saying I was never emotionally invested, never hurt my games. My dwarf died. I would just make another dwarf fighter instead. It's how the game works. I'm not saying about investment into your character. I'm saying you're invested into the story goals, into the goals of your party. If you're not invested in the goals of your party, then all you're doing is moving stuff. My character dies. My character dies a hero, or dies out of dumb luck. Dies out of dumb luck, I'll probably laugh at it. And dies a hero, I'm also, listen, he dies a hero.
Mm-hmm.
I'm invested in that. I'm not. It's not like 5e where I invested an hour and a half in creating my character, and if he dies, now it's an hour and a half that I have to recreate. Yes, old school gaming. I can recreate a character, I can make a new character. I always had fun doing that. It's being invested in the plot and the goals. If you're not giving things for people to get invested in, they're just going to be going through the motions. I hate to say it like that. For kids, players decide what content they want their kids playing. For adults, that your group decide. Removing certain content as it offends certain people is problematic. Yep.
Well, yeah, I think that what Don was saying there, absolutely. Sorry, I am being messaged really quickly. 1 second.
I got a feeling.
Time.
You gotta move your ass.
We're in the car, dear.
No, I'm gonna have to cut and run here in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And the Woman King movie and deny their control. I don't even know anything about that. I have no clue. I can't even make any comment about that. But what I do want to bring up is that the reason that I'm bringing this up is because of the mental health of gaming and gamers because this is about gamer health. Okay. So what is health as far as being able to get involved? You be able to get involved as much or as little as you're comfortable with.
Right.
If you want to become severely emotionally invested in your character, that's fine. Understand that it is a character, though. Always maintain at least some distance. I recommend that to everybody. Right. You can have emotional investment. That's part of the whole deal. And even if it is no backstory, just a character, and you made it, and you make your roll, and I scored the hit. Yeah, I killed the thing. Raw. But get that boost. That's an emotional investment because the whole table cheers. You're having fun with your friends. Right. The emotional investment comes from many, many different things. The point that I was trying to make is that, of course, it's the line between the player and the character, understanding that players and characters are not their characters and that authors are not their works, and that, right. that we should be, as creators, we should be able to be free to create something, even if it is horrible and terrible and dark and nasty, and you're just like, oh, God, what's going on with that? I mean, but it's like Legend. I mean, that is some serious darkness there, but Tim Curry, man, I would love to meet him. I don't think he's out there actually killing unicorns. I don't think that the guy who played Voldemort is actually drinking unicorns. I don't think that these horrible things are actually happening, or that Kurt Russell is a horrible racist like his in what's the newest one, 12 Angry Men or something, or the new cowboy movie. I'm trying to remember it now. I'm going too fast.
I don't know, actually.
It's got Kurt, and it's got Sam in it, and it's got a bunch of people in it, and it's.
I think I've seen.
It's a new cowboy movie, or Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. I don't think that he's. I really doubt that he's that way, but he did a great job playing it. So that's my point being to everybody is that when you're going online,
it's not the work.
Yeah, if you're going online and you want to get somebody canceled and you want to get somebody blacklisted, make sure you're doing it for something that they actually did. Unfortunately, we know people that have done that, and it's verified, and it's been tracked and traced, and they actually did things. Fine, go after them, but don't go after people that are like, I put swastikas on my tanks while I'm playing Axis and Allies to be like accurate.
Right.
Or Iron Crosses. I'm sorry, Don, don't. He's awesome. He's a model builder, and he knows how they go, but that's what I'm saying.
Well, at least certain uniforms. Like I watch an infographics, the animated infographics cartoons on YouTube, and it's like, oh look, it's not historically accurate, artwork going on there, because it's offensive, but it's historical. Where does that line? That's a whole other show. Where does that line?
Well, and then it's also very blocky animation,
right?
So you're not gonna you wouldn't expect it.
I would when they have a full-size flag going, and it's like it doesn't look right. You're like,
yeah. Well, and it's not to say that you be insensitive either. I mean, obviously, you want to be sensitive and be caring about how your work will affect people. And if you're saying, okay, I have written, a story, and my story contains these things in it. It may not be for you. It may be NC-17. It may be an adult. Say, it's a work of fiction or whatever. It's like, and you get an idea of what it's going to be. You go to a Stephen King movie and it's R. It's like, okay, what's going to happen.
Right.
you then that's what you're doing. You're consuming that media. So it's
making people aware of what it is.
Yeah, that's a good
right. And make people aware of it. So and also be sensitive. Be intelligent about it. You don't want to necessarily go out and represent other cultures without having some authenticity behind it. You're not going to be wanting to portray them in ways that are, one, inaccurate, two, totally unflattering or horrible. Right. If I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. I don't want to get you in any trouble.
No trouble.
But the point is that if you're going to be representing ethnicities in your games and things like that, do it right.
Yeah. No, definitely. Flatty one. Nobody should be going after anyone without looking in the mirror first. Many of these people are anger addicts and just don't like what they see when they look inward, so they lash out. That's part of it. I think some people are also attention whores. They want they need some people like to target people so they can get the attention. It's like, listen, I said it before, I'll say it again. I wouldn't piss on Zach Smith if he was on fire, but I do believe he's produced some of the best work in gaming overall. And to not have that available is more of a shame than the fact that he is, in my opinion, a cretin and a useless piece of flesh. Doesn't make the works that he created any less viable, but your mileage may vary. Don, is an actor in a movie portraying an SS officer really a Nazi? No, he's role-playing. Same thing as in gaming. Exactly.
Yeah, it's micro theater.
Yep.
Inglourious Bastards. That was a great movie. Yeah, I don't think they're actually doing that in real life, but still.
Trolling can be addictive. The human mind can find anything addictive. Dopamine.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, don't even get me started. I could go down a huge rabbit hole about what this damn thing is doing to our world and our kids and the dopamine addiction. He's totally right. And every time you're doing this and you're scrolling, it's like, and you know what? I'll tell you one thing I'm going to say. Put it in your pocket. Turn it off. If I see anybody driving like this, I'm going to honk on the horn. I'm like, put it down. Not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I get so mad. I talk to kids. I'd be like, ugh. That's where I go Scared Straight. You remember Scared Straight?
Yes.
Yeah. I'd be like, I'll go Sergeant Slaughter on your ass. Who are you talking about? Sergeant Slaughter. He's so badass that when he's in Cobra's cell, he takes his thumbnail and unscrews the screws to get out. Yeah, I was there. I remember that. Yeah. Anyhow, it's we could go on forever, and it's great. It's a lot of great topics. I'd love to come back sometime.
I'd love to have you come back.
Thank you very much for having me. I hope I haven't sucked it up too much. But there's a lot to it, and it's reaching out for help when you need to, like Heroes Journey Club, or reaching out to your friends, talking to people like you said, talking to people when it's like you're not the only one. Yep. It's like, thank goodness Don and I, because we weren't the only ones. And I tell you what, it was that exact situation where you're just like, oh my God, what the hell is what the hell? Yeah, because you wouldn't even believe it. But you're going, yep, and you go, holy crap. So it's real, And what else on Gamers Health? Good grief. We went about the rehab. We talked about the physical health, the mental health, the emotional health, the chemical health. Remember that the chemicals are a big deal, because if you eat shit, you're going to feel shit. You're going to be like, and you might think that you're going to be like, oh, I feel good, because it's giving you that comfort of, oh, it tasted good, or it was a good time the last time we were out here eating this high fructose ridden, saturated soybean paste, nasty patty with the cheese that ain't cheese, that made it of polymers that are one step away from you got to know what you're doing, know what you're eating, putting in your mouth, and why. Because another thing is, you can make popsicles out of antifreeze. They're delicious. You know what would happen if you ate that? But it's true.
We were done.
Yeah, it would not be good.
Yeah, same kind of stuff. And God, yeah. I mean, what else did we want to talk about? Was there anything else we wanted to talk about?
I think we hit it all and more.
I think there's always stuff that you go, we could have talked about it. We'll save that for next time.
Exactly. That's why there's a next time. It's been such a pleasure, Michael. Thank you.
OSR is alive and well. That's what I'm saying right now, everybody. You can just shut it. You can shut it. You know why? The thing is, here's the deal, okay? OSR will always live and will always be, because what it is the good stuff that we reach for on that shelf, and then we say, hey, kid, look at this. And they go, wow, this is so cool. This doesn't even need batteries. I don't even have to charge this up. I can read this anytime I want to. Oh my God, look at this wonderful book and this wonderful content. And that's what it is. It ain't about the fact that you're 1E or 5E, or that you got 5 hit points or 10 hit points, or you can long rest, or you can not long rest, or you can do whatever you're doing. It's the fact that you get the quality and the good stuff. Like, what's good about it? What's good about 5E? What's good about 1E? What's good about anything that you're doing? Could be Pathfinder, could be whatever. You know? That to me is OSR. I think that, because when you talk about old school and you go, what's good about it? Because, yeah, sure, you ain't going to see me going out there and like trying to make everybody be Spartacus. That's not good. But if you go, oh, wow, Roman roads are fantastic. Oh, my God, look at that architecture. It's amazing. There's some old school. There's some OSR. Bring the best and teach it to the new ones.
Fair enough.
That's why it's not going anywhere.
All right. Well, you have an open invitation. Whenever you want, you let us know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me on here. I want to hear all of your stuff. I've been listening to your show, and I've been paying attention to the works that you've been doing, and I really appreciate it very much. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to come on here, because
thank you.
It's community. It's you're reaching out, I'm reaching back. We help, and somebody might go, oh, wow, I'm glad that they mentioned that. I'm glad they brought that up. And as many people as you can touch, it helps them when they want to be helped, And like you said, and along that line, there's stuff going down, and it's going to get dealt with, and it is what it is, and I don't know. We won't even go there right now.
That's okay. Again, thanks to Michael, folks. Listen, as I always say now, it's an endemic. Use your common sense. Nobody's going to tell you what to do. Well, they will, but you got to figure it out for yourself.
I'm going to tell you what you do. Eat your damn vitamins.
There you go.
Stop being an idiot. Vitamins
D.
are good for you.
Vitamin D.
And minutes of weight,
Vitamin D and zinc. Folks, as always, be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I will be back again tomorrow with some random stuff. No live stream again until next Wednesday. I think we got a special guest. I'm not quite sure. I'll update you as we know it. And the Gamers Health newsletter should hopefully have an announcement out sometime during this week. All right, folks. Again, thanks.
Until next time, friends.
And thanks to everybody in the live stream. Much appreciated.
Good journey.
Dun, dun.